Sweet.
Good bluff.
Thank you, sir. For a second, I thought he was coming.
Huh?
For a second, I
Yeah,
thought
you can wipe the sweat from your brow,
Wow.
Daniel. I mean, seriously, how good does that feel?
Oh, that's
after you
awesome.
pull it
And, you know,
off?
normally you don't show a hand like that, but considering it was heads up, I wanted to go for the jugular. I figured if I showed him that one hand, it's just going to dispirit him. And 45 minutes later, he says, yeah, that was a good play. You know, so it was still on his mind, and that's why I did it.
Well, you ended up winning the tournament as well. Good job on that. Hey, you know what? I never lie around here. Actually, we're coming back. That is the truth. Stick around.
Hello, my name is Antonio Sfandiari, and I'm a professional poker player. They call me the Magician. You want to learn that? How about this? Or this? I'll teach you. All right, ladies and gents, here we go. This is the chip shuffle. Probably the most popular thing you're going to see at a poker table. A lot of people tend to do it. You basically just take the chips. Starting off with 8 is a good number. You break them into 2 pieces. And the position is kind of like this. Basically it right there. Basically what happens is these 2 fingers push down, which creates a little friction. And the other fingers, these 3 fingers, this one, and your pinky, keep the chips in position, while the other 2 push down and create the friction. So these 2 push, and these 3 keep the chips in position. So you push down, boom, you have the shuffle. Before you know it, it'll come completely naturally. You too can be the life of the party.
Coming up, he's the master card thrower, and he's willing to teach you how it's done.
For vegetables, you need a little bit more power.
Ahead, Chris Ferguson demonstrates his unique tossing techniques. But up next, Ivy, Ferguson, Harmon, and Flack. A dream table assembles to teach you their bluffing secrets.
Sometimes getting caught bluffing is even better than getting away with the bluff.
Learn from the pros is coming right back.
FullTiltPoker.net presents Learn from the Pros.
We continue to learn from the pros, presented by FullTiltPoker.net. Welcome back inside the FSN Poker Room. I'm your host, Chris Rose, joined as always by the Professor Howard Lederer, and today, our Fab Four, if you will. 4 more poker pros. Yeah, you like that, Jennifer Harmon. How are you?
Fab Four.
No,
What about this guy?
well, he's just kind of part of the team.
I'm the
Howard.
kind of okay 5th wheel.
That's all right. Next to Jennifer, Phil Ivey has 5 bracelets to his name. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you again.
All right.
Chris Ferguson won the main event back in 2000. Good to see you again, sir.
Pleasure to be here.
And Lane Flack, 5 bracelets to his name.
And
How you doing, man?
Good, great.
All right. Well, today we've been talking about bluffing, the keys to bluffing, how it gets done. Chris Ferguson, I'm curious, is there anything better than pulling off a great bluff in poker?
I really think that's a lot of the reason why people play poker, is to pull off that big bluff. And I think that's one of the things that separates poker from a lot of other games, is your ability to bluff. I think one thing people love about it is that, you know, in most places, deception is frowned upon. But at the poker table, if you're very deceptive, you're a hero. And, and you're idolized. So I think that's...
I'm going to try
I don't know if that's why they play, but that's why they keep coming back. It's like golf. You can shoot a lot of bad holes, but that one good shot keep you coming back.
Well, you know, also there aren't too many games where, okay, like in basketball, right? You like make that fake no-look pass, or you fake the pass and then go in for the dunk. Everyone sees the deception. Well, in poker, you can bluff and no one even knows it.
Jen, I'm curious, is it easier for a woman to pull off a bluff?
It actually is easier for a woman to bluff because they always think women have it and they're not capable of bluffing. But it's also, men bluff a lot of women because it's, they think that they'll lay down hands and they think they can run over them. So that's what I mean.
Yeah, you think you could run over a woman. That's why a lot of men, you know. Well, I'm not even going to touch that one.
See, I don't bluff that often. I'm willing to bet my bluffs, 90% of them I bluff probably with the best hand. You don't know how often you're bluffing that you don't have the best hand already anyhow.
Yeah, well, that's.
I know when I'm bluffing and I have the worst hand. Don't worry.
I mean, it is important that when you pull off a bluff that you actually bluff. I think. You know, I mean, if you're going to risk your money, out there, you don't want to be in a situation where you risked all that money and you didn't even like gain anything.
Yeah, you don't
because if no one had bet, you would have won the pot anyway.
Yeah, I think a mistake some people make is they'll bet these medium strength hands on the river, and there's no point in betting a medium strength hand on the river because you can just check that down, and if your hand is good, you're going to win the pot anyway.
And we talk about position a lot, and 95% of the time, it's better to be in later position than an earlier position. But like I've heard Gus Hansen talk, very cogently about the idea that when he's in first position, he feels like he's first to the bluff. And he feels like he's actually in position because he's the first one that can bet. Yeah, and sometimes the first guy that bets wins the pot.
But bottom line is, if you're playing against good players and you never bluff, you have no chance. You have to bluff. It's a very important part of your game.
Yeah, you can rely on the cards all day long.
A good player's going to pick up on
you have to take those kind of chances. If you do bluff and you get caught, then you can actually think about what you did in the hand to like give off any kind of information so you can use it the next time and not do those same things to give off those kind of tells.
Yeah, sometimes getting caught bluffing is even better than getting away with the bluff.
Really?
You could benefit from it because they saw you bluff in this situation. Now it's always going to be on their mind. That, oh, he's capable of bluffing, so a lot of times you're going to get paid off in spots where they would never pay you off in a million years if you didn't bluff.
Definitely the key is to remember what you've done against players in the past and use that to your advantage at all times, no matter whether it's bluff or not
because
bluffing.
Players always come back to that same hand where that person did that to you, and you keep thinking about it over and over, and
that image stays with you for a long
right.
time.
You can do a reversal.
It's that thing about that little bit of doubt. It's very hard to bluff someone when they have a little bit of doubt. And if you've been in a similar situation against somebody before and they saw you bluffing, what are the chances they're not going to have a little bit of doubt the next time and call you? And of course, over the long run, if you can get caught bluffing once and then get paid off 10 times.
Right.
That's why you see
That's
now.
why you do that reversal.
Hey guys, before we do move on, who's the best bluffer at this table?
I might be the best bluffer in the littler pots, as far as, taking small pots. Howard might be the best bluffer, as far as, setting people up and taking people off in, bigger hands, And everybody has their own way of bluffing, Lane might be
He's probably the best at getting caught bluffing on small bluffs. No, getting caught on small bluffs and then not pulling off maybe the big bluff, but getting paid over and over and over again in the bigger pots, and that's a successful bluff.
Well, all I can hope
and Jennifer's the best at sitting at the table and acting like she never bluffs.
Well, all I can hope, guys and young lady, is that you all told the truth for the last few minutes. We have to take a time out, but we'll be back right after this. Coming up next, you will never look at house salad the same way again. Chris Ferguson slices and dices using a simple playing card. Learn how it's done when Learn from the Pros returns. Welcome back. You are getting a good look at Chris Jesus Ferguson, not only a world champion poker player, but have you ever seen what he does with cards and chips and even fruit? Man's got some serious skills.
Hi, I'm Chris Ferguson. People call me Jesus. I can't walk on water, but I can do this with a deck of cards. And this. And this. And now I'll show you how it's done. On an earlier show, we learned how to chop fruit salad using playing cards. Pretty good. Now let's move on to vegetables. Once again, to assist me is my friend Lisa. You want to use the same grip, the Thurston grip, where you hold the card loosely between the middle and index finger. You want to stand about 5 to 10 feet away, but for vegetables, you need a little bit more power. So you're actually going to get your entire body into it. You're going to use your shoulders, your hips, and your arm. Now that we have the motion down, let's start out chopping some carrots.
Let's start with one.
Sometimes I like to challenge myself and see how many I can cut at one time. What do you have for me now? Close. You cut it clean like that, sometimes it actually stays on top. Practice that technique, and you too can throw cards like a pro.
We're back with our all-star roundtable when Learn from the Pros continues.
This is Daniel Granu telling you that if you want to be a better poker player, you better stick around.
FullTiltPoker.net presents Learn from the Pros. Brought to you by FullTiltPoker.net. Learn, chat, and play with the pros.
Coming up next week, have you ever misplayed those pocket aces or failed to punish the table when you hit a set? The professor holds class on one of poker's riskiest moves, the slow play. Plus, poker heavyweights Duke, Helmuth, Negreanu, and Gordon all stop by to share some wisdom. All that and a few surprises.
Pull.
That's next week on Learn from the Pros. Check your local listings for the time in your region. Welcome back inside the Fox Sports Net Poker Room. Of course, the key tonight, we had a little fun. We also learned a whole lot about bluffing, and now I'm going to test exactly what I learned. So let's see whether or not I can believe what everybody said at this table. You guys should do the same, by the way. You log on to FullTiltPoker.net. You can play against any of these great pros up here. I don't believe anybody here has ever made a mistake, Phil Ivey. You haven't made any mistakes in the table.
Never, not in a poker game.
Do you remember them when you?
I made plenty of mistakes. Every time I sit down and play poker, I make some type of mistake. I mean, that's the thing about poker. I've never played a perfect poker session. The only person that's ever played a perfect poker session is Phil Hum.